Good morning, everyone. This is Kathy Mason from Mason Works Marketing here on Conscious Business Zone with my friend David Maria. Hi, David. How are you?
Good morning, Kathy. You caught me lighting candles.
So today we're going to, first of all, I want to thank you very much for the beautiful free class that you did on the 1st. It was the perfect way to start the new year. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that. Is that going to be still available to people to
Yeah,
listen to?
yeah. That was wonderful. I really enjoyed it. There was a little over 70 people came. I think there was 144 signed up or registered, and that's not unusual. Not everybody shows up, especially when it's on a Sunday on a holiday. But I can't speak for others. I had a really good time. I enjoyed it.
Me too. I've been in a good mood afterwards, so that's a good sign. Not that I'm pretty much in a good
You're
mood.
pretty much in a good mood all the time, Kathy.
Well, no, everyone, it's all a waveform here. It's all, excitement and then, so anyway, we've got a bunch of people. Rochelle's on and Lizzie's on and Carol's on. Hi. Carol says, here we go. She says, yes, it was phenomenal. I did it twice and truly healing. Isn't that cool? Thank you, Carol. Thank you. And Lizzie couldn't do it because she was working, but she will. And Rochelle said me too on there. So anyway, so what I was hoping is that you could share a little bit about the opportunity for people to go deep into their consciousness and reconnect to their soul, because that's the way I interpret this journey that I've been on with you in these Freedom from the Known classes, is that it is a reconnection to my soul, an embodiment. And Ruth is here. Ruth Oates is here too.
Hi, Ruth.
Hi, Ruth. So anyway, what I'd love is for you to talk about, if you could, about that journey that is the basis of the freedom from the known.
I'm not sure what you mean by can I talk about the journey, about my journey?
Well, you could talk about your journey. Basically, what we're trying to do is give people an idea of you have a class coming up in a week, that by the end of this week.
Yep.
And we're thinking that there's more people that would benefit from experiencing the journey with there's a core group that's been doing it for a year, and then new people keep coming, right?
Yep.
But what I was hoping is that you could explain a little bit about the journey and what the benefit would be for someone if they've got an inkling that this might be for them, that what you envisioned that this journey would be. Ruth has put hearts. Sugar Bee. Hi, Sugar Bee. Yeah, so there's a bunch of people on.
Good. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Yeah, I can speak to that, and it's not necessarily speaking about the journey of how I arrived where I am now, although that's always fun. The major thing about the journey that I've been on is that what is the consciousness that has come as a result of that, of being on that journey. And for me, over the course of the last 4 years, and especially this last January, early January of 22, all of the veils between myself as an individual person and the greater cosmos and source were removed. And removed is kind of a silly word, I understand, because it doesn't really work, but I don't have another word. So with that, I'm able to connect directly with source, with the creator. And I receive transmissions, have been receiving transmissions for the last 4 years, that each one of them, when they come in, has eventually become an entire class meditation to be able to share with others, to help them on their journey. So the course is named Freedom from the Known because whatever it is that you think you know, whatever it is that you feel that you know, that is part of your normal life, you cannot use any of it in order to discover who you really are and who you've always been. So I don't like the word awakening, because how do you awaken to what you already are and have always been? We just remember. And that remembering process comes about through gradually, at whatever speed, at whatever rate of pace that each one of us goes through, the layers of our conditioning just fall away. They just come off. It's like having a whole bunch of layers of stuff in front of you that, occasionally when they line up and your eyes are in the space you can see. And so we just gradually strip those layers away. And the Freedom from the Known course is designed, and I say that with all humor, in terms of I'm the one that put it together, but who is it that I am that put this course together? So it's a course. The classes have come as transmissions, as gifts from the creator, from source, as a way to be able to help people walk through both being activated so that the energy fields within them are awakened and they can access them, and also combining that with having layers to strip away layers of conditioning that we all experience, whether it's fear or whether it's lack, or whether just whatever it is. And we go really, really, really deep. We go really deep into our conditioning, whether that's individual or familial, whether that's from the country that we live in or culturally, whether that's from a religion, whether that's a belief system, or whatever it is that you're carrying that is standing in between you and the realization of who you are and always have been. And it's the course has expanded. This will be the 7th time that I've offered the course, and let's just say that it's hardly recognizable from the first couple of times that I offered it. It's grown that much. It has gone completely quantum in terms of the level of the work that we do, and it's a delight for me to be able to offer it and to share it. And as far as I'm concerned, it's an unbelievable delight for everybody that attends and receives it. It's truly a way to go very deep, to go beyond everything that you know, and just have a direct connection with Source Creator. It's fabulous.
So I've been taking this course. I've never taken a course this many times, but each time it's different. And that's the other thing I want to have people understand, is that this is you loving you to a point where you never got a chance to experience before. And what happens is David is a human who's still working on himself. He's very humble. But during the meditations, he opens up his field, and it's a a quantum galactic kind of field. So it reconnects you to the remembering of your connection to all that is. And what it does is it actually transmutes a lot of the emotional blocks, which I see as dark energy in your field, and it transmutes them without you necessarily having to experience them, without you having to figure out which past life this karmic thing was or any of that. And here I'll show Rochelle put, "It's amazing, truly, I'm grateful. It's a journey home." So David relies on all of us to express what it is because he's in it too. It's like his human is one thing, and then the field that you open is another. But what I have to explain is that I don't see everything as in a judgment anymore from doing this for a year. When I look at something, I know it's in my field for a lesson or for an opportunity to learn, but it doesn't frighten me. It doesn't create an anxiety, emotional experience. It's just, wonder what that is. And then you get to see what it is or express it differently or the same, either way. But I've watched people in this group there's a small group of us that have taken course after course, and people that were afraid to show their genius are showing their genius like never before. Someone's an artist in England and they'd never had a show, and now they're full out expressing themselves without the fear. So there's lots of stories like that of the group of people that are they're not afraid to be who their gift. Want to add to that?
And all of that is definitely true. When you remove all of the superfluous aspects of who we believe we are, and part of that is that most of us believe that we're the thoughts that we have, but that's not who we are. Not even close. Most of us think the same thoughts repetitively, day after day after day after day. That's just the ego mind. Or the ego brain, but we're much bigger than that. And this is, as we go into 2023, we're beginning to step into the next epoch, into the Aquarian age, and all of the old energies are just falling away. They're just collapsing under the weight of their own dysfunctionality, because it's no longer the time. But what is happening is that the opportunity to undergo the transfiguration, to go through that entire process, is present and available in abundance for everybody, for anybody that is willing to say yes. And I'm not saying that coming to this course you're going to go completely through the transfiguration and come out the other side. But that's relies more with you than with each individual than with me. The energy of that will be presented for you to be able to walk through. How you do that is I can only walk up to the door. I can't make you walk through it. But what I can do is take you to the door and show you that it's always been open. The door to our self-realization has never been shut down or closed off to us. It is always available. And what happens on the other side when you do that transformation is more everything, more joy, more happiness, more abundance, more love, more ease and grace in your life, more everything. It doesn't shut down. It just keeps growing and growing and growing. And it's a love. It's not an easy process to go through. Doesn't mean that it's arduous, but it's not always easy, because we have, as they say, a lot of baggage. And all of us have baggage. And one of the new components that we have that has been added to the course is that as we're doing the clearings, as we go through and remove the pain body and the fear body and the lack and align the lack body, we do that multi-generationally. We go back at least 32 generations, which is a lot of people. And we clear it through the entirety of our generational line, of our familial line, so that as we're doing that, we're also changing that energy, that frequency for our ancestors at the same time.
Okay, so I'm listening to this now. I sensed right away that as soon as I heard your voice, I started crying when I heard you interviewed. That I'd been asking for how I could hold more light, how I could hold more of my soul, and then I heard you in the interview. So I recognized this is my path. For other people, I wanted to really make it understandable about the peace, because suffering is optional in our world, and we haven't been taught that. And certainly the chaos that's around us can cause suffering or cause entertainment. I mean, or
I don't know that I would call other people's suffering entertainment.
No, I'm talking about the churn of, oh no, there's another wave of something coming through. Oh no, there's the constant pressure cooker that the outside world is creating in order to create this new epoch, epoch is palpable for sensitives. Anybody who's sensitive is feeling the global consciousness.
They are definitely feeling it, and even those that cannot feel it are being affected by.
That's right. That's right.
By the amplification of the energy that's coming in, and that only increases not necessarily our obligation, but our ability to be more compassionate with others.
That's right.
If you don't have any awareness of this, you're still in the same energies.
Right.
And a lot of people, all you have to do is look at the world around us. A lot of people are digging their feet into the sand and saying, no, I'm not going to change. I don't want to do that. I want to stay back and repeat the third grade again. And this, I'm not ready to be able to do that yet. Nobody's going to be left behind. That never happens. We just repeat until we're ready. But I do want to stress that there is no out there. As you change internally, as you go through your process, then what happens when you perceive the outer world, it's not the same, because really and truly there is nothing out there. It's our creation. So if we're, and I'm going to use this word specifically, if we're stuck reacting to the way that the world is, to the injustice that's in it, or the corruption, or whatever it is, if we're reacting to that, what we really do is just bind ourselves to it, and some of our energy bleeds off and continues to feed it. So being able to come inside yourself and just be who you are, which is always perfect. We're each perfect just exactly the way that we are. None of us need improvement or anything on that order. As we learn how to just come into ourselves and understand that the world out there is both a projection of ourselves and a projection of the collective that we're all a part of.
Mm-hmm.
So what it does is it begins to change your perception of what reality is, because reality is very reality isn't. It's very fluid. So what is in front of us as individuals, that's our creation. Whatever it is that is presenting to us, whatever it is that's presenting to me on any one given day, that's my manifestation. It's not outside of me any place else. And so each one of us is responsible for the creation that we have. And yet, as we move into 2023, especially through this first quarter, the first 3 months is going to be really big energetically. It's going to present opportunities to us to fully go through the transfiguration on an accelerated level, in a way that's never been possible before. And what it's going to do, I have no idea, but the possibilities to create and to co-create with others an entirely new world to be able to live in, a world that doesn't operate on any of the principles from the old. It doesn't have the control and the corruption that is almost endemic throughout all of the systems on the planet. It's the creation and co-creation possibilities are absolutely endless. And it's going to be really fun to see what it is that we all choose to create and how we choose to create that.
Yay. I don't know if you could hear me cheering in the background.
I absolutely could.
Because I love the idea of co-creating, and I love the idea that we would have a more equitable world where everyone was. I kind of liken it to the Renaissance, because we've been in the Dark Ages in an upside down matrix, and now we have the chance, but it's going to take us a while, and it's going to be a rocky road. If okay, so I'm going to say something, you can correct me, which you probably will, but well, that's okay. I'm okay with it. The reason I'm so grateful for doing this work with you is I feel, and I've done a lot of work, had spiritually transformative experiences, hook up every day, but I still was carrying around a lot of emotional baggage in my field that I hadn't been able to release. And I think everyone that's listening to this, or if you have friends that you know that they've got a lot of baggage that they're carrying around, this work will help you reduce that, so that when these big changes hit, you're not going to be I don't want to say physically ill, but you will be, that all of those dark emotional blocks, which I see as gray in somebody's field, will be triggered. All of them. That's what's happening right now. The light shows the dark, and they need to be transmuted. And this is one of the best, it is the best way that I've found to transmute that for myself. And that's why I want as many people as possible to experience it. Okay, you going to correct me?
Not really. I would say it's not the best way.
It's mine.
The best way to experience all of this is through grace. Is just to have the grace of the I am that I am come into your life spontaneously, because it always appears unbidden, unasked for, comes in whatever time that it chooses, and it seems to be we can't push it or force it or cajole it or beg for it or anything else. It just appears, and that is without question the easiest, the simplest way to go through this process. But it doesn't always happen that way, and sometimes we need to consciously do work with our shadows, and I don't really like to use the word dark. That's a personal preference with mine. They're just distortions that are in our field, and some of them we've been carrying generationally, passed on through our families, through our whatever conditioning and mechanism that you can think of that we've all gone through. So it is just literally as simple as when we release all of this stuff, then we discover who we are. You can't awaken to it. You can just remember the self inside each and every one of us has always been there. It always will be, because that's all that is. There is just the self. And you could say, and I say this quite frequently, that all that's required is the complete dissolution of everything that you ever thought you were. Whatever that is. That's not easy for a personality. That's not easy for the ego, because the ego thinks that as soon as it dissolves, that everything's going to go dark and black, and the body's going to die immediately and become worm food or whatever. But that's absolutely not the case. Not the case at all. But it does require surrendering. And that's why at the beginning, Kathy said that I'm a very humble person, and that is definitely true. And that's because your ego just surrenders and lets go. And then all that's left is just self. All that is just the self. It's just the I am presence. And there's no whoop-de-doo to use or to express around that. It just is. And not only just is, it always has been and always will be, because that's all that there is.
So I have a question for you that I've never asked. Ready? No.
Well, I'm always ready. I have no idea where you're going to go, but
yeah.
That's an adventure unto itself.
Yes, always. Okay, so this is the new year, and a lot of people made New Year's resolutions or vision boards, or they started a program. And I wanted to ask what you thought about affirmations or that kind of work, or the mental toughness. A lot of the Joe Dispenza work is, working with your brain, your brain, it's all brain work. So I just wondered what you thought about that, because I've never asked before.
We've actually talked about it.
I don't remember that.
Apparently it went,
I don't
a lot of the work that we do during the course is towards opening up dormant neural channels within the nervous system, within the brain. So I have phenomenal respect for the work that Dr. Dispenza does. The man is an unparalleled genius. There's no question about it. And if anybody has hacked enlightenment, it's probably him. I come from a different place internally, and that's neither better nor worse. It's just different. So you've probably all heard the expression that all paths lead to God, and it doesn't matter what it is. So doing the work that way I have only great admiration for those that have done such incredible deep investigation into the human nervous system and the way that it works and how to change the neural patterning. Because one of the things about abundance is that we're always abundant. It may not be exactly what you want or what you think you want, because whatever it is the predominant energy of your energy field. That's what you're going to get an abundance of. And if your field is focused on lack, you're going to get a lot more lack. That's just the way that it works. You pull to you, you attract to you what is the very essence of the frequency vibration that you change or that you're emitting. So if you can use your brain to alter the neural patterning going on inside of you, to change the thought processes of what you're experiencing or what you're thinking inside, and begin to change it that way, that definitely works. This works from the bottom up and the top down, and from the sides in, and from the front and back in. There's no wrong way to or incorrect way to be able to approach doing the transformation of your consciousness. And by saying that, each one of us feels a resonance or an attraction to the path that is the most resonant with each one of us. So Kathy mentioned that she heard my voice and she immediately resonated with, I want to study with this person. And that's neither good nor bad in relation to me. That's a relationship that Kathy and I have between each other, that we're pretty much simpatico with each other in terms of our vibration. That's another way of saying that we're in the same soul family. Joe Dispenza's work and work by him and others, because this work has been around for a very, very long time. It's fabulous, and I personally would love to attend one of his seminars sometime. But so far, that's not come up as something that I need to do. So I operate strictly from guidance from the inside, and I've never gotten a prompt to do that with him. But would I enjoy it? I'm quite certain that I would enjoy it. Doing work that way is, my brain is wired differently than most people's. So if I wasn't on this call with Kathy and all of you that are present now, and all of you that will listen in the future, I would probably be sitting somewhere in my house and my brain would be quiet and still. It's not overly active, and I don't, quote unquote, think a lot. No one is ever gonna confuse me with being a really deep thinker, because I'm not. My brain's not wired that way, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with somebody else's brain being wired the way that they are, because we all have our own unique individuality and our unique path that each one of us is walking. However, the more that we change our neural patterning to come into alignment with what we really want for us in our lives, what we want to create, the more that we create empty space inside of our incessant thinking that goes on inside of most people's brains, the more space there is for Source to be able to come in. So your answer is yes, I love his work. I love all of that. It's not a primary source of teaching for me.
Right.
But it is fabulous. And if you feel the resonant call to it, go for it. Don't hesitate.
Well, okay. So the other part of the question was about affirmations, because this is the beginning of the year, and a lot of times, like, there's new year, new you kind of mimes everywhere. And so I wanted to let people know that this is much deeper than an affirmation, that it's actually a soul body fusion opportunity where you release things that are keeping you that are known, your programs, your patterns, your inclinations that you thought were the best for yourself, and without even there isn't a lot of deliberation with it. It's seamless, that the things that aren't of the highest frequency just leave your field, and then more of who your imprint or your genius, I guess. That's what I really want to call it, is that it's more of who you really are, your full expression, or whatever can fit in this vessel comes in. Is that correct?
That's definitely correct. And affirmations are wonderful to work with. So if you look at neuroscience, and just even in a small way, like neuro-linguistic programming, we've known for a long time that the brain is not capable of telling the difference between a real and an imagined experience. You have professional athletic teams paying millions of dollars a year to coaches to teach their players how to visualize what they're doing.
Right.
And they just sit in chairs and visualize doing the activity, whatever sport it is, whatever it is that they're going to be doing on the athletic field. And they achieve results, substantial enough results, that more and more teams are hiring experts like this to be able to do it. Dr. Dispenza has taken this to an entirely new level in terms of the research that he has done. So the simplest way of saying this is that we're all just making this up. And if you don't like your reality, we'll change it.
Right.
Imagine something else.
But see, that's where the monkey mind, if you don't release the known, which is keeping you safe. I mean, it's not just the ego. It's the ego may be the name that people give to the construct of it, but it's your world paradigm. It's what your hologram. It's how you created your
distortions are just unconscious programming within you.
Mm-hmm.
Or unconscious trauma that was at the moment that it happened was so traumatic that you fractured it off as just a natural, normal defense mechanism,
right,
to be able to survive having gone through something like that.
Right.
And it doesn't take much imagination to think of the kinds of traumas that could be with all of the war that's going on and everything else, and that's been going on for a long time. So there's a lot of that personally and individually, and a lot of that collectively that we all can tap in. So anything that you can do, even if it's just temporary, like an affirmation, to be able to create a new or open up a new neural channel within inside of yourself. So the way that I explain this, and this is just my viewpoint, might not others that have. I'm not a neuroscientist, so I look at this from an energetic side or perspective. So if you look at a brain, it's got all of these deep convolutions in it, and crevices, and those are indicative of, to me, those are indicative of deep trauma that has been tied with an emotion, because it was very traumatic. And so when people get into thought loops where they start remembering a trauma or something, and it just starts looping and looping and looping and looping. Right. That's what creates all of those deep grooves that are in the brain. And the more the emotional charge that's associated with them, the deeper the grooves. the easier it is for them to be able to work with. So whatever we can do to be able to break those patterns, whatever it is, whether it's working with me or doing other work, doing body work, it does not matter. It's you're taking a step towards being able to heal yourself internally, doing affirmations or setting intentions and repeating them over and over. Those help create new neural pathways within the brain, and gradually you start to. Sooner or later, you're gonna be asked to drop those also, to just let those go. But they can be a fabulous vehicle to be able to take you to another level with yourself, to be able to calm those storms, so that if they do recur, they recur less frequently and for shorter duration.
Perfect. So I want to share a couple comments. Rochelle said, I like David, you incorporate the heart, which is something that I needed. Rochelle's a medium and she has incredible capacity to connect to source to assist others. So that's something. And then Sugar Bee put New Year revelations instead of resolutions. Is that perfect?
That is perfect. Whatever snaps you.
That's right. And then here's a question for you. And you guys, if you have questions, please share them. Selena says, when you start to become your higher self, is it like sort of like also going through a dark night of the soul, but in a different way?
So thank you for your question, Selena. So when you start to align consciously with your higher self, and let's be clear, your high self is your I am that I am. It is the self. There is no separation, and there never has been any separation. You just begin to remember it. And each individual is going to do that process in a unique way that is just for them. And so whatever occurs to them is going to, we can either come easily to this with ease and grace, or like me, you can end up being drug kicking and screaming for a while until you decide that you no longer want to do that. So it can be as easy or as difficult as each person wants to hold on. So the more resistance that you have to going through the process, your dark night of the soul might be a little more intense than it could be. It's also very possible that you could just decide, please, I'm just going to jump off the cliff, and just let it happen, and you could experience it with more ease and grace and less challenges. So it really is unique to each person. The more that you find that you can just surrender and let go, the easier it's going to be.
Yep. Well, I think there's a trepidation before you know you're going to let go, that something's going like, something big's happening.
And that uh-oh is the ego that each and every one of us possesses.
That's right.
And the ego thinks that it is who we are.
Yep.
It thinks that it believes all of the thoughts, and it doesn't want to give up.
Right.
That's just the way egos are. That's just their nature.
Right.
So knowing that doesn't necessarily make the process easier for the ego to be able to dissolve, because at one level, while we're going through this process, we still believe that we are, well, let me just ask the question. Who is it that you think you are? Each one of us. If you say the word I, if I say the word I, who is this I that I'm speaking of?
Right.
Can you show it to me? Can you present it to me? Can science conclusively present to me who is the I that you are speaking of as a separate individual and not merging back into the stream of source?
Okay, so what I want to add to that is that the more that you do this work, right now I am here with David on this on StreamYard, but I am also looking at us from a different perspective, watching the play. And so that's more I am than this is. You want
And,
to help me out with that one?
and well, eventually what will happen and is already happening is that your high self or your soul or your I am presence will, as you cleanse and purify your physical, emotional, and mental and spiritual bodies, the frequency of your physical vehicle, of your body, will rise. Right. And it'll rise to enough that your soul, your I am presence, will come in, and there will be a merging. And that's usually what we refer to as enlightenment, even though that's a highly overused word. We become a master in the physical body. And in the past, when people did that, when they had that realization, they would drop their bodies and go back into non-physical. Right. But that's not what we're doing now. We're embodying as a master in the physical, in the physical body. So it requires a complete surrender of who we thought we are.
Exactly.
And I do mean complete.
Well, I'm not complete yet. I'm still.
Me neither.
I'm still clearing, but the amount of joy, honestly, the amount of energy that whatever you resist persists. So the amount of energy that we're using up, resisting all of this is a waste. And so, I mean, I don't know. I just think I'm watching people in our class. I'm watching my clients that I've brought into the class, and they're just all of a sudden on fire to express themselves and enjoy the earth plane rather than being victims of everything. So I want to add this. There's a bunch of stuff. So that was Joanne Palladino. Hi, Joanne. I love you. Okay, so here we go. Rochelle said, it helped me clear generations of suffering that I had no idea I was carrying. The transformation has been incredible. Thank you. Thank you. And Carol saying, thank you for affirming you help us clear 20. It's 32, but that's okay. 23 generations before us. No wonder we have so much to clear. Well, what happens is...
Hang on just one second.
Okay, I'm sorry. I slow down.
No, that's all right. Who are those 32 generations of ancestors? How many people, really and truly, how many people are on this planet right now?
Oh, 8 billion.
How many people are on this planet right now?
Oh, I don't know. Just one. Okay, so that was a trick question.
Not really. So
well, there's only one, and we're fractals of the one.
At one level, we are our ancestors.
Right.
So the incarnational stream that we have gone through, and this is something new we're going to do in the class this time, is in addition to going through and cleansing the incarnational stream through our familial lines and going back at least 32 generations. It could be more. It's unique to each individual. Once that's done, then we're going to introduce forgiveness into all of that stream, and then we're going to merge that stream.
Wow.
So,
Well, so it is merge this stream, which changes the timeline. Is that what you mean? What do you mean the stream?
we're going to merge all of those ancestors
Wow.
into us,
Wow.
but only after cleansing.
Cool.
After clearing the entire line, only after forgiving everything. One of the things that I have written about recently is, can you forgive everything? Can you forgive the unforgivable? Can you forgive the most horrific thing that you can imagine? Because it's going to be necessary to do. Because if you're still holding it, you stop short of walking through the door and surrendering.
Yeah.
Even though there's no door to walk through.
Well, what's interesting, Sugar Bee wrote this. Hi, Sugar Bee. I'm so glad you're here. I went through the forgiveness already to clear all of that up. But what, Sugar Bee, what I want you to understand is that because we're in this, the freedom from the known takes you out of time and space, not out of this. It's bigger than this reality. So what you might have done, like A Course in Miracles, and done forgiveness work in that level, that's only a part of this. This is quantum.
And it's wonderful that you've done that work, Sugar Bee. And I don't know how you did that or what it was. And I'm not even saying that you need to do it more.
Yeah, no.
I'm just saying that as we go through this particular class, that will be an element that will be interjected into everything. And congratulations for having gone through and forgiven as deep as you have. That's really beautiful work.
Well, the thing is that then I want to show you your web page, if you would. Okay. The thing that I want people to understand is that you'll know if this is for you and if this is the path to freedom. And seriously, that's the key word, is that if you have felt like you're carrying around, either you're sensitive and you're feeling the whole world, or you're carrying around this baggage, but you just can't identify it. The way that class works is that we get to speak for a while towards the beginning, and then we do a meditation where David opens up his field and his higher consciousness does the meditation. So he doesn't always know exactly what's going to be coming through either. So all of us are very uplifted and changed energetically by it. So the class is it's a class, but it's, I don't know how to call it. It's an experience. Then you get the recordings for each one of these meditations, so you can do them over and over and over again. And sometimes, like, there's one for abundance or fear or pain body. There's been times where I've done them multiple times as a remedy when I had something come up. So that you do get recordings after the class, after the group meeting. And the other part I want to say is some of the people that are on this thread have taken the class, and they could tell you how the being in group is remarkable. This is not just a class where you have a pop quiz at the end of it. It's quite amazing, the divine connections and the heart space. So let's see what
The, the, the
this is what
only,
Michelle said. She said, I knew it was for me by the vibration of David's voice. It felt beautiful and familiar, that gave me the ability to trust the experience.
So the only quiz question I would ever ask anybody is, who are you?
Yeah.
And you were absolutely right, and the same with what Rochelle just wrote.
Thank you, Rochelle.
If listening to this, you feel a resonance, if listening to me speak and Kathy speak and any of the other comments, if you feel a resonance in your body, then there's a connection between us that is asking to be explored, whether that's coming to this class or not. Kathy will tell you right away, I'm not a salesperson. I offer what it is that I offer. I offer what comes through me. I offer, in essence, I offer myself, and I offer the resonance of that vibration. And if you feel it, then you feel it. And if you don't, that's completely and totally okay. Maybe it's another teacher that you will work with. Maybe I'm not saying any of this is true. Maybe it's that you're not ready yet. I can't speak to each individual. Do I like to have a lot of people in the classes? I love to have a lot of people in the classes. The more people that are in the class, the bigger the energy field that is available to be able to build once we bond as a group. And it really brings through large energy to be able to help with the transmissions, with the transformation that we all go through. And that includes me. That includes me.
Yep. Okay, so I'm going to share the page now, and you can tell me how to navigate.
You navigate by scrolling down. That's my favorite quote at the top. That no matter how broken you think you are, you're not, because none of us are. None of us are. Every master that has ever self-realized and remembered who they are, if you ask them a question of one was asked what surprised him the most, and his response was, the door was always open, and it's always open. It's never been closed. We're the ones that close it. Sorry, go ahead, Kathy. We don't have to basically read everything here. There's a fair amount of material that's here, but it's definitely true that you will experience a new level of freedom and joy. There's no question about that. And it's definitely true. It's never too late to remember, because there is no time. Time doesn't exist.
Right. So I have put the link to the page so that you could look at the information. There's tons of testimonials on the Eden template site. And also, if you want to learn more about David, on my YouTube channel, there's other interviews where he tells more of his story of how he was awakened, and his interaction with Kenya. That I think that's what made me recognize him as my teacher. But I really want to invite people. That's a new year. It's the perfect time that there's a lot of light coming into the planet.
It's rocket fuel.
Yep. Yep. By March, April, it's going to be something else, guys. And this could get you so much clearer so that it wouldn't be as rocky a road. That's my, I don't know who's going to actually watch this, but mine know from my experience and everyone that I've invited to be on this journey with me, that we all have benefited tremendously from releasing the stinking thinking.
Repetitive thinking of the low mind.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
if I could, Kathy, let me just say one more thing.
Yes, please.
That the entire class, its essence is that it is heart centric.
Right.
We do a lot of work to open up the heart and open up the direct channel from the heart to the I am that I am, to the I am presence. Because without the heart, we're pretty lost. So it's the difference between living on the earth and living with the earth. If you're living with the earth, if you're working at living in harmony with the earth, with all of the life on the earth, the only way that you can do that is through your heart.
Right.
Because when you're in your heart, you're connected. You know that you're connected with all of life, and not just life here, but life multidimensionally, life wherever it is in this universe that it is, and in other universes. Because there are lots and lots and lots and lots of universes.
Well, thank you, everyone. And please share this presentation, because David does the Freedom from the Known class for 11 weeks. Then he takes a little pause and then he does another one. So if this time period doesn't work for you to join, but maybe the next one would, I can't recommend it enough. I'm not the same person. I'm just getting started. So
Not the same person either, and I'm looking forward to the next class.
yeah.
And it hasn't been configured yet, so you can't go there and sign up. But I am going to offer one class from the overall class once a month throughout the year for the next 11 months. So I get it. I get it that signing up for 11 straight weeks on a Saturday is a big commitment in terms of time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to offer it as once a month, and just if you don't want to take all of them, don't take all of them. If there's a particular one or two or three or four or all of them that you want to take, then you can sign up for them. But it just reduces the time commitment that you have to be present. And as always, recordings will always be available to be able to listen to.
Yes. Thank you.
And one more thing that I'm really excited about, and again, it's not on the site yet. It will be by this weekend. Is my goal. I'm going to start offering group quantum healing sessions. And I really don't like the word healing, and haven't come up with an appropriate alternative to that. But basically, we're going to do group work together, and those are going to be offered for free for the first 3 months. So I'm going to do one on the third Sunday of each month in January, February, and March.
Okay. Okay, well, we are out of time. So seriously, go to the edentemplate.com, sign up. And once you sign up, you'll be notified of all the new offerings. And consider joining us for the Freedom from the Known, because suffering is optional, you guys.
Pain does happen in all of our lives, but suffering is always optional.
Yes. Okay. See ya. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, immensely
Everyone.
for joining us.